Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Ausra.
Let's start episode 223 of Ask Vidas and Ausra podcast. This question was sent by David, who is helping us to transcribe my slow motion videos into scores with fingering and pedaling. And he writes, I'm getting better at this. I'm quite enjoying this. I have an organ transcription of BWV35, the aria Gott Hat Alles Wohlgemacht. I've been adding the fingering as I go, but with the work I'm doing here, I've been noticing things in the fingering that has got me going back and analyzing the entire aria, and I've revamped the fingering in certain areas. And I'm actually writing it in for every note while testing it at the same time to make sure it makes the most sense. I have a good grasp of the pedals, but with some of what I've noticed you do, I'm now applying those techniques and it's starting to catch on with the basic hymn playing I do. Sections that I used to find a bit challenging to figure out the proper pedaling before are now becoming a breeze. Thanks so much, Vidas. What can you say, Ausra, about this feedback?
Well, I appreciate, David's letter. It's so good to know that things that we are doing, that you are doing, are actually working. But it just proves, what I believed starting from, 20 years ago, that right pedaling and right fingering may solve a lot of problems, technical issues, and will make playing much easier.
And you see, I am reading actually between the lines now what David wrote, because he's watching the videos and transcribing it, the fingering and pedaling into the score. He learns my technique too. Not only he helps me, but he helps himself.
True.
Right? And later can apply my own system or our own system, because it's similar, in his own performance, which takes him basically to another level.
Because it's often the case if you are working on a new piece and there are some spots or one spot where you cannot play correctly. You always make mistakes, you always mess something up. Your problem is incorrect fingering or pedaling.
Either incorrect fingering and pedaling or inconsistent pedaling and fingering.
Yes, true.
Sometimes people don't bother writing down them and play with whatever accidental fingering and pedaling they want, and that's not consistent. And imagine in one rehearsal you play one way, in the second rehearsal you play the second way, in the 10th rehearsal you play the 10th way, and in the public performance you mess up at all, because you are in very confused state, especially with public performances. Dangerous. You are stressed and you don't have motor skills this way.
That's true. And it just reminded me, I almost started to laugh when, I had an open lesson of music theory with my 9th graders a few years ago. And there was, like 3 people watching that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It was, for me to receive a certain certificate.
Uh-huh.
And one of my students was playing just a basic sequence. And suddenly he told that, I don't have enough fingers. And then another guy who has, always makes jokes, told, take mine finger when you will have 6, in one hand. and everybody were just laughing. And the problem was related to this because he, chose incorrect fingering, and he could not then to play the chord appropriately.
And sometimes you can use both hands.
True.
To facilitate playing of sequences like that. So even kids sometimes, in a way, understand the need of fingering the hard way, basically, while making mistakes like that in front of public. It's sometimes humiliating, right?
Yes.
Because he wasn't joking, right?
I know. I know.
Others were joking.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, do you feel sometimes that you would need to have a sixth finger?
Then if I do, then I need to add my foot, like a third hand. And in a way, our feet are sometimes designed as a third hand. We use them, both feet together, as one additional hand sometimes. While keeping heels and knees together, they move together as a unit, right? And not two separate limbs, but just one. Except in cases where there is double pedal passage, but which is rather rare.
True.
Mm-hmm. So yes, do you recommend, Osha, writing down fingering themselves for people who don't know how to do it?
Well, I would say you better learn how to do it and then write them down. Because otherwise you might need to rewrite them a few times.
Can't you learn by doing, by writing and making mistakes, failing, erasing and adjusting?
Yes, that's one way, but that's a longer way. It will take a lot of time. So having correct fingering at the beginning, I think would save your time. Unless you like writing and rewriting fingering all the time.
Another person who is on our team of fingering and pedaling transcriptions, he asked me to provide a score, from which I'm playing with fingering and pedaling. He hoped that I have a score with fingering and pedaling written in with pencil. But I said, no, I'm just sight reading those pieces with correct early fingering and pedaling right away. And he asked me, how is it even possible, right? Well,
after many years of
first 20 years are difficult,
yes,
and then
daily
it's easier.
training, then it's easy. Yes.
Once you learn the system, you can do many things right away without preparation. And actually, one of my goals with sight reading those fingerings and recording those videos is not only to provide a material for our team to transcribe to, but also to improve my own sight reading, because it's a process, right? It always improves or degrades depending on if you miss or not practices. So I hope to improve to the level that I can learn my pieces faster and faster. And sometimes it's even sight read unfamiliar pieces, easy pieces during public performances in a fast tempo, concert tempo. If you reach that level.
Yes. I think it's always important to know when you are trying to teach other people, to help other people, don't forget that you have always to be improving yourself as well. Because otherwise you will not be able to teach others.
Or isn't that a nice circle? While teaching others, you are teaching yourself as well.
Yes, it is.
And while teaching yourself, actually you're not always teaching others, right? People who are hiding their talents from others, they're not helping others. But that's another side of the story. We prefer to be open about it, right? We learn something new and we share with the world.
Yes.
Okay, thank you guys for sending us questions. We love helping you grow, and we hope that you apply our tips in your practice and continue to develop your own skills in whatever area you choose. This was Vidas.
And Ausra.
And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.